梦想是什么？
做美国总统。
这个视频如果传到了华盛顿，会引起全美轰动，说中国人已经做好了接手美国的准备。
I love China. China is a beautiful and great country. Such a long history and colorful culture. Chinese people are very friendly and polite. They are working hard to make China stronger. China is changing every day. China is making progress. It's becoming stronger and stronger. I'm so proud of my country. I love China.
You can't deny the enthusiasm in this young Chinese boy, nor this little boy who points at a foreigner in China and says, I will beat you to death.
我要中国打死你！
为啥？
因为外国不能入侵中国。
但是我们不是那种外国人，我们是中国的朋友。
What are Chinese kids learning in schools that makes them so passionate about taking over America, or so enraged that they say they'll beat them to death? And how are American kids and other kids around the world getting caught up in the CCP's education trap to turn them into overseas agents for the party? Welcome to China Insights. China Daily, a major media mouthpiece for China's Communist Party, calls this red tourism, where historical heritage sites are luring a growing number of young travelers, featuring tours of sites related to the nation's revolutionary history, which they say is, quote, now popular among Generation Z, those born in the late 1990s or early in the 21st century. Industry experts apparently say that Generation Z has become the main customer group of red tourism, and products featuring immersive experiences and high-tech feel are particularly popular. I was deeply touched by the revolutionary spirit, and regions across China are competing for red tourist dollars. The mayor of Jinggang Mountains in Jiangxi province says. More people are flocking to Jinggang Mountains, known as the cradle of the Chinese Revolution, for learning the history of the Communist Party of China. Chinese kids are shown animated propaganda videos that promote dangerous gun violence like this at schools.
对面的越军弟兄，别误会，我们是中央军的，
是老蒋嫡系。
我们是来帮你们。
糟糕，是红军，给我打！
They are taught to love and value the decades-long history of the Communist Party instead of the thousands of years-long history of pre-communist Chinese culture. Just last month, a video of a large group of toddlers being taught enemy-destroying skills was leaked from China's internet. A netizen commented, if they weren't speaking Chinese, I would have thought they were Hamas. Another said, looks like Hamas has learned from our education methods. Some were outraged, posting, look at the ridiculous actions of these kindergartners. I really worry for the parents. This is blatantly telling kids they need knives to kill. Those instilling hatred in children, aren't you afraid of divine punishment for your shameless actions? Another said, I'm even more scared to have kids now. And it's not just young kids who are being trained like this. A netizen posted, China is really full of idiots. What era is this? And they're still talking about the big knife squad? It is truly pathetic to be Chinese. Someone else posted, this is perfect. Starting from preschool to high school, students should practice wielding broadswords, halberds, spears and daggers during breaks. They should shout, kill, 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 for 10 minutes straight. until the echoes of their killing cries fill the campus. Ideally, they could shout for 12 years. Each student would be filled with murderous intent and aggression. This way, there would be no more remarks about China being weak or its youth being unmanly. Imagine every student with eyes full of hatred and a menacing killing aura. We can't tell if that netizen is being sarcastic or serious. Another posted, "The CCP's education instills hatred and violence from an early age, turning talented children into brain-dead individuals." Another wrote, "It's purely a performance." But what do you think? In Chinese kindergartens today, it's not just knife workouts that kids are doing, but explosive bomb-carrying physical education. It's not a sport. Children are indoctrinated to sacrifice themselves for the Communist Party. A netizen pointed out the hypocrisy, writing, "Children of the privileged in kindergartens are enlightened with international bilingual knowledge. Children from the lower class in kindergartens are not gaining knowledge, but are being trained by this group to carry explosives." This is happening in Brave Kindergarten in Xinmi City, Henan Province. Another posted, "This is being used to demonstrate the CCP's so-called patriotic education method. This approach has been condemned as a blood-stained joke." Although the video was taken down quickly, it still spread across the internet. It is precisely these education institutions that allow children to live in an environment of opposition to the United States, hatred of Japan, and an anti-West mindset filled with brutality, ignorance, and hostility devoid of kindness, intelligence, or basic humanity. A netizen replied, "Seeing these children carrying explosive packs, I don't see bravery, I see cowardice. It's just like the one-child policy. When their wives were forced to have abortions, they endured it. When their children are forced to carry explosive packs, they endure it too. Not a single one dares to voice opposition. But who is doing the teaching? These are some of the worst cases we've seen. Be warned." This is a male teacher outside of a classroom with a student. With teachers following CCP orders and instructing students, brutal situations like this are becoming all too common in China's education system. Yet the CCP's state-run media continues to put out propaganda videos to the public and the international community like this. But it's not just China's kids. It's the kids in your country too. A new report from the Daily Caller News Foundation shows that thousands of American kids are being sent to camps run by a Chinese influence and intelligence agency that promotes Chinese Communist Party propaganda and even trains some children to act like little overseas Chinese police. Just in one city alone, Wenzhou, in just 1 year, more than 1,000 overseas Chinese children participated in activities like a Me and My Motherland essay writing competition, requiring children born overseas to think of China as their motherland. China's state-run media published this in Chinese media. Overseas Chinese youth is the hope and future of overseas Chinese society. The New York Chinese Consulate has bragged that every year over 10,000 overseas Chinese teenagers from around the globe are invited to come to China to visit, inspect, study, and communicate, seeking their roots from their ancestors. And a New York-based group, the Shungen Association of Chinese Americans, claims to have recruited nearly 2,000 children for the program since 2013. The CCP advertises these camps as root-seeking summer camps, and on the surface they look like a benign cultural experience. But according to the CCP's own announcements, the camps are run by CCP influence and intelligence organizations called Overseas Chinese Service Centers. There are around 60 of them in the world, including 7 in the US, and they recruit the students. China's Ministry of Public Security is often involved in these camps. Here, students wear matching black t-shirts featuring the English word police and matching hats with China's Ministry of Public Security badges on them. A CCP organization report said that during a program ceremony, Ministry of Public Security officials inducted the children into a squad of Little Overseas Chinese Police. They said that they hoped the new cadets would guide more overseas Chinese youth to join the ranks of the Little Overseas Chinese Police. The programs are held all over the country. Here, at the Jiangsu National Defense Education and Training Center in Suzhou, a 60-acre military base with obstacle courses and field combat training areas. In Beijing, campers have received training from PLA soldiers, marching, push-ups, and even hugs. Camps are held in Shanghai and in Xinjiang, where the CCP has been criticized for committing genocide against Uyghur and other ethnic minorities. Investigative reporter and former Mandarin and East Asian civilizations professor Philip Lenzicki posted this video of Chinese kindergartners at a National Defense Education boot camp practicing rifle tactics. He says these boot camps for kindergarten kids have been common in China for years. Kids learn to use toy weapons including knives, rifles, grenades, mortars, and shoulder-fired missiles. And the children pledge in unison together to swear to love the motherland from now on, to dedicate our hearts to working together to build the dream of a powerful country. They pledge their lives by saying, "Even if I fall to the ground, I will continue onward." At this year's summer camps in China for overseas children, the CCP announced that the camps had trained participants to become Chinese culture ambassadors who tell China's story well. According to the US-China Economic and Security Review Commission, they say these terms are code words for the CCP's conducting of external propaganda work. National security analyst Brandon Weichert says that the Little Overseas Chinese Police Camp may aim to threaten participants into operating as informants. He said students are told, "We're always watching you. Why don't you help us keep tabs on mum and dad, or grandma and grandpa, or brother and sister?" Weichert says the CCP camp program aims to get them while they're young. What this is all about is forming cadres of sympathizers for the CCP so that they'll then come back to the US and they'll serve the interests of the CCP, whether wittingly or unwittingly, he said. No country is going to put resources into a program like that unless there was some kind of ulterior motive. The Daily Caller report has caused outrage among some American officials who understand the nature of the CCP. The CCP embeds itself in our universities, critical infrastructure, and government through elite capture operations and establishes so-called service centers that are linked to the CCP's intel arm to extend its influence, said Missouri Republican Representative Eric Burleson, who is also a member of the Committee on Oversight and Accountability. The Chinese Communist Party is waging an all-out war against the United States, not with missiles or bombs, but with a sophisticated and insidious strategy of unrestricted warfare to infiltrate, weaken, and ultimately destroy our nation from within. Michigan Representative John Moolenaar, chairman of the House Select Committee on the CCP, says, "The long arm of the CCP's malign influence extends into the United States and seeks to assert an illegitimate claim on all those of Chinese ancestry, regardless of their nationality. We need to protect all those on American soil from the CCP's authoritarian agenda, particularly by educating the American public on the true nature of the party and its dystopian vision." What do you think about how China trains its children, and how it seems to be claiming birthrights on children of Chinese descent who are born or have moved overseas? Tell us what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more China Insights.